Yeah. Today, I'm going to share a little bit with you about finding a calling. 700 of you here, great souls, trying to find out where you want to be able to dedicate most of your life and trying to see where you will be able to achieve it. Now, finding a calling is easier, not easy. It's easier than fulfilling a calling. Finding a calling is deciding, knowing, realizing what to do. But fulfilling a calling is living out the rest of your life trying to achieve what you actually want to do. Okay? What is a calling? A calling is a mission, an activity where you carry out for the benefit of others, for the benefit of society, maybe even to be able to take the world to a higher level. That's a calling. So a calling means somebody who wants to dedicate their life towards the betterment of humanity, towards the betterment of society. But there is another question there. The whole world are struggling to survive. How is one to find a calling? We need to worry about whether we have ability to survive the day we become independent of our parents. From the time we are born till the time we become 20, 21, 22, everything has been paid for by our parents. Right from our food to our school fees to our entertainment to our clothes, so everything has been paid for by our parents. And now, when we become independent, 21, 22, 23, when we finish our so-called education and go into the real world, we need to survive. Now we need to worry about paying for our own bills. We need to worry about wanting to be able to get our luxuries. Now, how are we to talk about wanting to serve humanity when we have not even got the ability to think about ourselves? How are you going to serve humanity when you cannot even fulfill? What does this mean? Calling is not for anybody who cannot fulfill this too. Calling is not for anybody who cannot fulfill this too. Calling is only for the best. Calling is only for somebody who has been able to fulfill their survival needs. They have been able to fulfill their luxuries. And then they still have got much more to be able to give to humanity. Superman, not Superman, Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. That's the calling, but he had great power first. If he doesn't have great power, he's not going to be able to fulfill any calling. You don't have the ability to go and make a difference in your own life. You won't be able to make a difference in the lives of others. So what we need to become very clear is that calling is, yes, exciting, wonderful, but when the children have no food to eat and you don't have the ability to fulfill whatever you need to fulfill, then the calling feelings will start to die. So if you really want to be able to have a calling, then you need to be above the ordinary. You have to be the top, the outstanding, the brilliant people, and people who will be able to go out and give your best to the world. So we must become very clear. Many people have this excitement. I want to be able to do this and do that, but soon the excitement dies. Okay? So if you become clear that to have a calling, you must be able to go above basic survivals. You must be able to go above, which means to say you need to have those necessary skills. And then when you go into the calling, it's not a bed of roses. It's not a bed of roses. It's a lot of fun. But there are challenges which are now double. You have to worry about your challenges of your life, for your own personal needs, and you have to sit down and think how you're going to be able to help people who cannot make their lives, who cannot fulfill their life, who cannot fulfill their responsibilities. Now you as their leader, you as the person who is outstanding, are going to go about trying to achieve this. This must become very clear. This is the meaning of the word calling. Calling, if you can achieve this, then life is wonderful. Then life is wonderful. So we need to become clear that this is not some fun. It's not something let's go in and let's do it. But if you can do it, the happiness, the fulfillment, the satisfaction is unimaginable. You're talking about Maslow. You all know Maslow? Yeah, we're talking about Maslow. We're talking about actualization. Someone who has reached everything and now he wants to give back to the world. This, you will become the greatest of human beings. That's why you go down in history. You go down in history as human beings who have been able to fulfill all your needs, and you have made something massive for humanity. This is the meaning of the word calling. You have mission. You have a mission. You want to be able to do something. Now you have the capacity to do it. You have the ability to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Every human being has their ability. But you need to be able to develop the necessary skills. You need to be able to set this standard, this goal, that you want to go above the ordinary. Now in the past, Superman, Spider-Man, I do not know how they got their gifts. Maybe they were lucky. Because they were lucky, then they were able to fulfill their responsibilities of trying to serve humanity. Does that mean a calling is only for those people who are lucky? No. A calling is available to all humanity. All human beings are equal wherever you come from. Whether you come from the poorest of countries, whether you come from the richest of countries, there are difficulties, problems everywhere in the world. And anybody who is a human being, he has the potential to become a great human being. He has the potential to take up a calling and put his or her mark on earth. Like that, I also had my calling when we came to Cambodia. My calling goes back 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I was a school dropout. I was not able to achieve many things in my life, and I could hardly make ends meet. And then I learned about a program. I learned about a program which helped me to believe in myself. A program which taught me that I also can achieve whatever I want to achieve if I develop all the skills. So I don't have to believe in my horoscope that something is predetermined, whether I'll make it, I won't make it, whether I have a calling, I won't have a calling. I learned a program, I'm talking about 30 years ago, when positive thinking and mind sciences were all very, talked about. I learned and I was taught this, and I started to realize, and it changed my whole life. And I started to believe that actually I'm no less than anybody in the whole world. And I can achieve everything I want to achieve. I'm not going to go down as a person who cannot make ends meet or can barely make ends meet. When I realized that and my life started to change, I started to feel, if I was going through all that kind of difficulty, then surely there must be thousands of others. Then, while I have now achieved whatever I want to achieve, then let me go about trying to do for others so that they also will be able to live better life. That's when I started this organization with my two sons. And I told my two sons this. I said, they are a bit different from me. Okay. I told my two sons this. I said, you are different from me. I came from a background where I was a school dropout. I came from a family of 12 brothers and sisters. My father was able to make ends meet, and we were not able to do anything. I managed to try to get into some backdoor university and then got dropped out because don't have the discipline. Okay? But I said, I found my calling, I learned something, I realized who I am, and I started to do. But I said, from the time you were born in my life, you have been given the best of training. You have been given the best of everything. Today, you have more than what most people have. I've given you the best education, I've given you the best opportunities, I've given you the best luxuries. So you are lucky. Why were you born in my family? I don't know. I believe in God. You could have been born in any other family, but you were born in my family. So in a sense, you are lucky. Lucky in a sense, you have more. Share some of your luck with the rest of the world. You also live your life, do well, but also share some of your luck with the rest of the world. And they thought so, and they realized, yes, they also basically came together. So we as a family have dedicated our lives towards trying to be able to achieve. But what do we go around doing? We go around telling people, step number 1, learn how to fulfill your responsibilities. And step number 2, if you have the ability to fulfill your responsibilities, then maybe you want to take up the opportunity to take up a calling, make a difference in the lives of others. So we go around different parts of the world. We started off in Cambodia. I came to Cambodia in 1997, worked in the university, brought students. I brought 24 students from all over Cambodia to live with me, from the districts, from the rural area school dropout to live with me, trained them, educated them, build them, and then they were able to go out and survive. But before going out to survive, I told them that I believe in a principle that whatever you receive, you should try to give back. So why don't you, 6 months of your time, 1 year of your time, before you go out, go and do some service to humanity as a way to pay back. You got everything free. Why don't you give back something before you go into the real world? So they agreed, and they thought it was a great idea. So from there, these people who lived with me, in a year or so, they went out to run centers. And we started off with 8 centers, and within a short time we were in every province in the country. Because what I used to do as I trained people, when they graduated with me, now they were able to go out and teach people foundation education. What we do is we give foundation education. I'll explain what foundation education is. And when we were able to do a lot, then we moved on. We went to East Timor. East Timor is the next poorest country. Cambodia and East Timor have a very similar history. Okay, East Timor, Cambodia got independence from whatever regime, and then they got their elections with UN coming in 1992, 1994, they got their government. East Timor also got independence from Indonesia in 2000. In 2002, they got their government. Here, 1994, the first government was established. 1997, the government collapsed. East Timor, the government established in 2002, and 2006, the government collapsed. Okay? Now, these were the countries where people are most displaced. Children who are going to school, who are in their teen age, because of war, because of problem, because of difficulty, they are not able to fulfill their education. What do? They need to have an alternative education so that they can also go into the world and make it. So we came up with a system called foundation education, or an alternative education to the public school education, which is a 2-year comprehensive program. We give it to you so strongly, then when you go out, you are able to survive. Now, what is this 2-year program? We teach you English. Everybody already knows the local language. We teach you English. We teach you basic mathematics, plus, minus, multiplication, division, fraction, and discounts. Then we teach you computer. These 3 things you need if you want to go into the world. Whether you know history, geography, science, doesn't matter, but you need to have English. You need to have basic mathematics. You need to know computer if you want to go into the working world. If you have these 3, and you go for an interview and you are a confident person, you are able to talk, you are able to speak, okay, people will think that you have passed your high school. They don't care. They won't realize that you have failed because you are confident, because you are able to present, you are able to carry yourself well. And if you have a good character, you are responsible, you are somebody reliable, you come on time, you are punctual, then you are the first ones to get promotion. Now with this foundation education where we teach you English, basic math, computer, plus leadership and character, you will be able to make it in the world. So we started to do this, and people who don't have the ability to finish their public schools, they did this, and we have been able to achieve. Now, those who finish, we want to offer them something higher, which is foundation, which is basically a calling. But we tell people, again, to have a calling, you must be outstanding. To have a calling, you must be somebody realistic. You need to be very clear that the world out there is not easy, but the world out there needs every help it can get. The world is going through so much of difficulties. It could use every help it could get. Any amount of people who can go and dedicate their lives towards the betterment of humanity, the world could use everybody. Okay? There will never be a shortage of the need of people who are ready to go and do service to humanity. But to do that, you must have the ability to be out there. You must become the mentor. You must become the example. Because people are not going to just receive from you whatever service you are doing. They're going to look up to you. They're going to see you. They're going to follow you. They're going to turn you into their mentor. They're going to basically do everything you are doing. Now, if you do the wrong things, you teach the wrong things. You are a public person. You have to be extremely careful when you do this. So, if this begins to happen, then you can either do a disservice or you could do a great service. You can go out into the field as somebody with a calling and actually sometimes maybe cause more problems. Or you could be somebody who could actually make a massive difference if you have the right principles, if you have the right skills. So going into the outside world, finding a calling is something which only you will be able to know, because somebody may be interested in environment, somebody may be interested in education, somebody may be interested in medical. You can be interested in any field. But whatever field you are interested in, that is your calling. But in that situation, the kind of person you portray, the kind of leadership you have, the kind of way you handle things, this is very, very important. This is crucial. So we realizing this, we realizing that it's very, very important that when you send somebody as an ambassador, these people who are going out there to do service to humanity are going to be treated like leaders, are going to be treated special. You need to have somebody who is able to carry themselves well, is able to present themselves well, who is able to actually create a positive impact, not someone who goes in there and creates a negative impact. You have volunteers, you have people going out there, and when they go into a country or they go into a place and they start condemning the systems which are being run there. They start condemning, in my country like this, in my country like that, and the people in my country are like this, and these people are like that, and the government is doing this, and the government is doing that. We call this secular government. We call this the government of these people who are trishaw pullers. Okay? They can't even take care of their families and they're judging the government. Do you know how difficult it is to run a family? You know how difficult it is to run a business? The government is running the whole country. No government is a perfect government, but they are trying to do their best. They have their weaknesses. Now, if you want to help a government, then go and support a government. Don't judge a government. Don't come up with destructive criticism. Come up with constructive criticism. Come up and say, yes, these are your weaknesses. Come, let me see how I can help you. Because I run schools. I have 60 schools in East Timor, 60 schools here, another 50 schools. I am a drop in what the government does. The government has thousands of schools. They are handling millions of people. We are just handling a small drop. We have to be very conscious. We are here to help the government, not try to think we can do better than the government. This, to me, is very important when you go as a person with a calling. You are here to support. You are here to help. You are here to be humble that I am doing a little bit. Yes, I am doing. I see some problems. Everybody has problems. So it is very, very important that when you go into a calling, you are trying to find ways of how to solve the problem. You know, when I came to Cambodia, I'll just tell you a small story, and I was teaching in the university, and the only subject I can teach is English. So we are all of these expatriate teachers sitting down together, and we're talking about these students. You know, we're talking about their copying and they're lazy and this and that, and giving all kinds of complaints. I said to them, were we not aware that before coming to this country, this was the circumstances? That's why we came to this country, didn't we? We knew these kind of things were happening. We came here to help, not to judge. We didn't come here to, you know, show that these are the things that are happening. We came here to help. We should understand. We should try to make difference. We should encourage. We should motivate. We should help them to change, not start judging them. I find this aspect of calling very, very important. That's why I'm emphasizing on it. You, if you can free yourself from this so-called negative skill of judging, of trying to pick, of destructive criticism, and if you take this out and develop the other 9 skills, you will do phenomenal work. The country will love you. The people will love you. You will really create a positive impact in society. So, calling is definitely a wonderful thing. But you have to do it in a very proper way. Anybody can have a calling, and you need to really be that example. So this is basically just giving you an idea of what the calling is. Now, there are 9 skills which you must have. These are 9 basic skills of any human being who wants to be outstanding. If you want to be outstanding as a human being, you need to have 9 skills. If you have these 9 skills, you will be able to achieve phenomenal things. And these 9 skills are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and H. We call them ahha. Aha! Like when you come to a realization. So we call it ahha. Are you ready for this? Is there any question in between on the first part? Because now I'm going to go into the second skill. Or the questions will come a little later. Yeah? Are you ready for ahha skills? Am I speaking too fast? No? Clear enough? I'm still okay, right? That's good. Now, we chose 9 skills. Why? Because these are 9 aspects in life which we need to address. And we need to have those skills so that we will be able to address these 9 aspects in life. First aspect in life is, we use the word A for aura. Aura means your nature, your friendliness, your love, your heart, your good relationships. Now, we are human beings, different from animals. Animals are not social beings. Animals do not live in societies. Animals live alone among themselves. Okay? So because we are people who live in society, we need to have people skills. We need to be able to get along with literally anybody. So you need to have a great aura. You need to be able to mix with the good people, the difficult people, the young people, the old people. You need to be able to forgive, to understand, to be somebody who can churn. We use the word churn means you can work with literally anybody. Because we are human beings. And the world is made up of all kinds of people. Do you have people skills? Do you have a great aura? Do you have the ability to work, to be around, okay? To cooperate, to synergize, to be able to do all of these things? So you need to have what we call the first skill. It's called aura. If you have aura, they will work with you, they will do. And because you do not judge, because you do not look down, you do not have this thinking that you come from a foreign country and these people are local. People feel close to you. They are able to learn from you. You have a very nice nature. You have a very caring nature. You have an understanding nature. You have a forgiving nature. This nature is very crucial. This nature is very crucial for you if you are going to stand up as a leader. Because you are leading people. Because you are leading people, people need to feel close to you. Do you have that skill that somebody can feel close to you? Because we live in society and we are going out to help people. So this aura is very crucial because we live in society. Your father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, colleagues, business, everything is dealing with people. We are human beings who need to have interactions, relationships with people, so we must have people skills, positive people skills. So we say you must work on your aura. You must find ways of how to be able to forgive people, how to be able to understand people, how to be able to overcome difficulties, how to cooperate, how to synergize, cross-cultural, cross whatever, able to accept, not able to judge. Okay? So the first skill is A. You must have this thing that you are able to work with people. Then the second thing is B. What is B? Believe in self. Now all human beings have the potential to achieve whatever you want to achieve. But this potential cannot be turned into ability if you don't believe. If you don't believe that you are a human being, if you do not believe that you have all the necessary instruments to be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve, then you cannot change potential into ability. Billions of people live their whole life never turning their potential into ability. People don't even believe they can drive a car. They don't believe they can speak English. They don't learn English. They don't believe they can talk in public, so they don't talk in public. They don't develop the skill. They don't believe they have the ability to go overseas, so they don't go overseas. They don't believe they can become rich, so they don't strive. Your potential turning into ability is dependent upon your belief. Now we come from backgrounds. From this part of the world, girls are considered lower than boys. This part of the world, people who come from rural are feeling inferior to those who are living in the cities. So what begins to happen? We don't believe. We have been indoctrinated. We have now got this mental block. When we see people, we just cannot do anything because we don't believe. How are you going to create this belief in people? How are you going to portray that you have this belief in self? Because anybody who has belief in self will be able to achieve whatever they need to learn, whatever they need to develop. Sooner or later, some skill, something will come about. And if you have belief that you are a human being, you have the potential, you are as good as anybody else, then you can achieve it. But for you to have belief, many people think belief is connected to intelligence. If you are intelligent, you have belief. No. Belief is just connected to practice. That's all. I don't know if you all have watched this movie, Forrest Gump. To me, Forrest Gump is the best example. He won 3 great medals. He was the greatest ping pong player and the greatest, runner, and he had this big business of whatever it is. Whether true story, not true story, that story was really good. He didn't have the intelligence, but he didn't have the laziness. He would practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And because he could practice and practice and practice, he became good. In our English programs, we make people practice and practice and practice. Belief is all about practice. Belief is not about intelligence. Anybody, show them what to do, get them to practice, 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 they will become. Now, there are some people who pick things up faster. Yes, it's true. But the person who picks things up faster just needs to practice a little less compared to the person who picks things up slower. So when they were growing up in their lives, so what began to happen? Their parents made them practice a lot of things, so now their brains are already, their muscles in the brains are already very active. The people who didn't get this practice when they were young, now they need to practice more so that their brains also have the ability to achieve. So believe in self, turning potential into ability to achieve, learn, whatever you want. It's all a question of practice. Some people will take longer, some people will take shorter. But everybody can do it. You can put a monkey down there, they're not going to do it. They don't have the potential. We have the potential. We don't have the practice. We don't have all of the support. Now this is what people need. Now if you can practice whatever you want, you will be as good. You will be outstanding. Okay? What's the third thing? Third thing is, life is full of challenges. Life is full of problems, full of difficulties, full of weather. Today is good, tomorrow is bad, this difficulty happen, that things happen, you have challenges, problems, difficulties, blackouts, accidents, people steal your things, life is full of all kind of problems. And to all of these problems we need to react. We have to react. Now if you react in an angry state, in a bad mood state, then your reaction will create more problems. But if you react to these situations in a calm state, it has happened, this is the reality, I cannot change what has happened, but now, what can I get out of this? What can I do? Then you will be able to learn from this mistake, and you will be able to react to this situation in a most effective way. But if you are not calm, if you are impulsive, you are angry, you are in a bad mood, your ability to react to situations will be bad, and you will create more problems. And nobody escapes all these problems in the world, because problems, difficulties, challenges, injustices, all that. It's about how we react to them. Knowing that they are going to be there, what we need to do, we need to be able to be ready. So that when these problems come, we are ready to be calm and find out how to be able to react to them in the most effective way, in the most wise way, instead of in the most impulsive way, and create more problems. Because many a times, we are the ones who bring more problems into our lives. So do you have the ability, what we call, to be calm? And you have the fourth one is called D. D is discipline. Now discipline is a very interesting thing. The normal person thinks that discipline is a control. Laws are control. When actually, if you sit down and think properly, laws, most laws, there are some laws which are unjust laws, but most laws, whether they are natural laws, whether they are school laws, whether they are hotel laws, whether they are spiritual laws, whether they are country laws, laws are there to be able to give you the maximum out of that situation. Take, for example, health laws. I want to be healthy from now until I die, another 50 years. And if I break the laws, I'm not going to be healthy all through. But if I follow those laws, now I will be able to be healthy maximum, the same way with traffic laws. What are traffic laws? Traffic laws are there to help us to get the maximum out of traffic. Because that road is not being used by only one or two, it's being used by thousands. You need to be able to put laws there so that with these laws, you can get the maximum speed for the 1,000 people to achieve their destination. So what are laws? Are laws there to control us, or are laws there to actually facilitate us, to make things easy? And laws are basically set up by the most genius people. It's set up by nature, it's set up by law. So human beings, when they look at laws, we are thinking of how to break the law. We're not thinking about this law is there to make sure I get the maximum out of my life, maximum out of school, maximum out of a country. Accepting the fact that I am not the only one living in this country. I need to be considerate. We need to think about everybody else. But when you have the wrong mindset, you have the wrong idea of what laws are all about. This is what happens. So do you have this thing clear? That laws are there for the betterment of humanity, but they are unjust laws, I agree. But they are 5%, 10% of all the 100% laws, 100 of laws which we have, 5%, 10% are the unjust laws. We'll sit down and sort these unjust laws out. But 95% of all laws are there for the betterment of humanity, for the fairness of humanity, for the ability for everybody to get the best. Now, can we instill into people? The laws are there for the collective good, not for the individual good. Laws are there for the full life benefit, not for the immediate benefit. Because when you break the laws, you enjoy, yes. But in the long run, you suffer. So if we can understand the importance of the discipline, to be able to follow the law, to be able to be considerate, understand that we are society and how to be able to get the maximum, then things will change. So we have got D. Now we come to E. What E? You can say third eye, you can say education, you can say intellectual faculty, you can call it reflection. So E means education. Now what's the meaning of education? A lot of us go to school and we study and we memorize and we write the exam, and after that we pass and we forget. Whatever we learn, we forget. Is it education? I don't think so. Education means you understand. It makes sense. You can question. You can change. You are ready to apply. You can, you use critical thinking. You try to think. You try to understand. Why? You are questioning. And when you really understand, now you can apply. But most people, they don't want to use this thinking. They are just happy for instructions to be given to them and they follow. But if you want to be a great human being, you want to be somebody who is a leader, you cannot afford to be somebody who follows. You need to be somebody who is a thinker. Okay? And you need to have somebody who reflects, reasons, understands, investigates, finds out, experiments, and then you are able to apply. Because the world is constantly changing and you cannot follow a system everywhere. Sometimes things need to be adjusted to fit in different situations. But if you only have knowledge, you will not be able to do this. And many a time we take things out of context because we are not educated people. We don't think, we don't reason, we don't question, we don't find out, we don't investigate, we don't experiment, we don't deduce, we don't research. The whole world has moved forward because of all the scientists. These scientists are thinkers. They are people who are realistic. They understand. They are able to apply. They are able to change the situation, and that's how humanity comes. But the vast majority of us are happy to be just followers. You need to have the ability to think. You need to have the ability to reason. You have the ability to understand, not just. So E is a very important skill. And then you have to be F. What's F? F means you are a fair human being. You are not somebody who's going to fight your brother, sister, family, son, and all that when there is something which is involving others. You are fair. You are trustworthy. If the laws of a country were fair, then everybody has an equal chance. But many of us, when we come into positions of authority, positions of power, now we don't become fair. We all start to become biased. We have vested interests. We become people who are sometimes even prejudiced towards certain individuals. We're not fair. Now, if you are a fair human being, wherever you are, everybody in the village will respect you. They can trust you. They can depend on you. Because they know you stand for the truth. You're not going to stand for friends. You're not going to stand for anybody. You're a fair human being. You're a trustworthy. You're a responsible. You're a truthful human being. Because you believe that everybody should be given equal rights, equal opportunities. You're a perfect, you're a fair human being. Now, if you have fairness, it's fantastic. Next one is growth. G is growth. Everything grows. Your education grows, your knowledge grows, your body grows, your ability to, develop anything grows. So are you somebody who is constantly thinking of how to improve, how to better? Is your tomorrow better than your today? If you are given a project, are you constantly trying to improve this project, constantly trying to upgrade this project? Because the whole world is constantly growing. Every time new computers come out, we need to upgrade, we need to update, we need to be able to change, adjust, because the world is constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly getting better. Are we also having that kind of a mindset? Are we also people who are constantly growing, constantly developing, constantly improving? Are we constantly thinking of how to better? There is this thing called dialectics. Dialectics is thesis, antithesis, synthesis. 500 years ago, everybody carries things on the head. That is the means of transportation. And from there, it improves. People put a stick and they carry 2 baskets. And that is their form of transportation. The next thing they do is they get a trolley and they push. That is their form of transportation. From that trolley, you get a cow or a horse in front. The next thing is improved. From there, you basically get a truck and trucks and ships and all that. Everything keeps growing. Everything keeps evolving. The world is moving forward because human beings are constantly growing. Everything is growing. Everything is evolving for the better. Are you such a kind of a person? Is this how you think? Are you always trying to see how to improve? You're having your meeting, trying to find out where your weaknesses are, where can you overcome your weaknesses so that you will be able to do something better. Do you have this kind of thinking? Are you somebody who has G, ability to make things grow? And after that is H. What is H? H is, are you happy under all situations? Are you happy only when it's your birthday? when it's your anniversary, or when it's some Christmas or Hari Raya or some Khmer New Year? Or are you somebody who can be happy in all situations? Because somebody who's happy is half full. Somebody who's happy has got a positive mindset, always trying to look for the good in everything. Are you able to be happy? Because if you are not happy, you don't have the power to work. You don't have the power to do. You need to be happy because happiness is energy. Happiness is power. Where there is love, nothing is too much trouble. But if you are not happy, where is all that power going to come from? So do you have the ability to determine when to be happy, or is the environment going to decide when you will be happy or when you will not be happy? So situations like this, do you have the ability to be happy? Okay, all the time, all areas. And the second H, the ninth one is humbleness. Are you humble? Are you able to recognize that there's so much to learn, there's so much you don't know? Are you able to recognize that everybody in the world is like you? Everybody in the world is also striving. Everybody is trying to do some good. How can we learn to work, to understand instead of judging and looking down? How can we be people who can really cooperate and work? Are you somebody who is humble? Now when you have these 9 skills, you are somebody who has great belief in self. You will be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Any problem comes, you are calm. You are somebody who's constantly thinking, understanding, reasoning. You are able to make things grow. You are happy in all situations. You have great relationship with others. You are a disciplined person. You are a fair person. If this is the kind of person you have, these 9 skills, wherever you go, people will love you. Wherever you go, people will salute you. This is somebody who is truly a great human being, because they are fair. Their ability, they are able to grow anything. They can think, they can reason. They are not blind followers. They are not basically going to accept something until they investigate. They are great relationships they have. They have the ability to develop any skill. They are calm under all situations. They are not impulsive, not angry, not fed up. Okay? And you can work with them. You can get along with them. If these are the skills you have, then you become great human beings. Today, for you to get a job, for you to be able to earn enough for yourself is no problem. And then now you qualify to be able to go into calling. Now you can do what? Because for you to survive, you are above survival. You are above all this ability to earn few dollars, to survive. Because you are among the outstanding. And whatever is your skill, which is your academic skill. All academic skills is for you to be able to do a job, but these are your full human ability to be able to handle all situations. Now academic skills give you the money. But full human ability tells you that even though you have the money, you have family problems, you have health problems, you have relationship problems, you have social problems, you have inabilities to do so many things. There are so many other problems, it's not just money. But when you are a full human being and a leader out there, people are looking at you. You are able to achieve, you are able to solve, you are able to find a solution, you are able to do this. This is what is required for a person to fulfill their calling. If you want to fulfill your calling, you need to be outstanding, you need to be dynamic, you need to be somebody who will be able to achieve. Because the whole world, or that set of people are looking up to you as their leader. You cannot afford to be weak. They come to you, everybody will come to you for advice for this. You are that outstanding. Do you have these skills? So that you will be able to lead in the most positive way, most effective way. Okay? Now, before I close, I'm going to tell you a story. Who are the most outstanding people in the world? Okay? In a sense of which category of people? Now, 100 years ago, I call this progressive education. Okay? 100 years ago, my grandfather could read and write. The whole village couldn't read and write. Only my grandfather could read and write. And because my grandfather could read and write, he became the leader, because he had something more than the rest. He became the village chief. But 30 years later, my father didn't become the village chief, even though my father could read and write. Because by the time my father could read and write, by the time my father became an adult, so many people were able to read and write. Anybody who finished school became the village chief. Anybody who was outstanding in the public school, they became a village chief. But 30 years later, many people finished public school. And all the people finish public school, they didn't become leaders. Anybody who finished university, they are the ones who became the leaders. But 30 years later, you have thousands of people finishing university. Becoming a university graduate is not something which is outstanding. Everybody seems to be doing it. But anybody who had computer about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they were outstanding. But today children are playing with computers. Today kids are playing with computers. Today you have computers is not enough to be considered somebody is outstanding, because everybody has computers. Today if you want to be the leader, today if you want to be somebody out there, having a university degree is not enough. Having a computer is not enough. Of course, you definitely know how to read and write. But today, to be the leader, what is that extra? Do you have leadership and character? Do you have these 9 skills? I worry about what will happen to the next generation. I don't know what they will have to achieve. But for you to constantly be ahead, you need to have something more. And when you have something more, then people look up to you and say, yes, this person is really somebody who is outstanding, brilliant, dynamic, educated, as good as anybody else. And not only that, they are able to sincerely dedicate their life to the betterment of humanity. This is the standard for you to go out into the field. For you to be able to fulfill your calling, for you to be able to have this ability to solve problems, because you have to solve your own personal problems, your survival problems, plus you are supposed to lead to solve the problems of your community or your service. You require much more. You need to have all the skills. And then, when you go out, people will salute you. You will be able to do great service in humanity. And people really need. Look at the world today. It really needs everybody's help. But we need to be the outstanding. Now, you were chosen from the top universities to come for this symposium, because there was hope that you are already outstanding in your education. You are already outstanding in many other aspects. Now, and this is a hope that you will become those who will go out and serve humanity. I'm just trying to help you see something you may have overlooked. I'm sure all of you are great in your own ways. You have good friendship, you have great auras, you have great belief in self, and you are calm and you're fair, and you are happy people, you've got the right mindset. But there may have been 1 or 2 things that you missed out. I'm just trying to show you in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, H. Aha! And that way you might be able to check yourself. And this might be even an easy way for you to help somebody to be able to see how their life can come up. So, finding your calling and fulfilling your calling is what we are trying to share. I think so. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great.
Before we go to Q&A, thank you for that. I think that was wonderful. I'm going to just show you a quick little